Okay, today we're going to learn about plot. Um, I believe it's week 4 of your assignment. You have to fill out a plot diagram. I like to fill out a plot diagram as I'm reading. So the moment I learn something, I either learn a new character, learn something about a new character, learn about the problem. The moment I find something that would go on the plot diagram, I like to go ahead and fill it out. So that's what we're going to do today. I already have it on the board. We are going to read Dr. Seuss's Hooray for Diffin' Day, which is one of my favorite books, while learning about plot. I've always lived in Dinkerville. My friends all live here too. We go to Diffin' for school. We're happy that we do. Our school is at the corner of Dinkerzuber and Dinkerzot. It looks like any other school, but we suspect it's not. I think we're learning lots of things not taught at other schools. Our teachers are remarkable. They make up their own rules. And so we'll see here on the exposition. I started listing my characters. Miss Bonkers is going to come up in a second, but here is setting. We already have Dinkerville. We already have Diffin' School. Mrs. Bobble teaches listening, Mrs. Wobble teaches smelling, Mrs. Fribble teaches laughing, and Miss Quibble teaches yelling. Miss Twining teaches tying knots in knickerchiefs and noodles and how to tell chrysanthemums from miniature poodles. Mrs. Vining teaches all the way a pigeon can be peppered and how to put a saddle on a lizard or a leopard. My teacher is Miss Bonker. She's as bouncy as a flea. I'm not certain what she teaches, but I'm glad she teaches me. Look, she chirps. I'll show you how to tell a cactus from a cow, and then I shall instruct you why a hippo cannot hope to fly. So we have Miss Bonkers. We also know a little bit about Miss Bonkers, so you'll see on your assignment, you have space to give more information. So we're going to put that she's a happy person and that she loves to teach. So she even teaches frogs to dance and pigs to put on underpants. One day she taught a duck to sing. Miss Bonkers teaches everything. Of all the teachers in her school, I like Miss Bonkers best. Our teachers are all different, but she's differenter than the rest. We also have a principal. His name is Mr. Lowe. He is the very saddest man that any of us know. He mumbles, "Are they learning this and that and such and such?" His face is wrinkled as a prune from worrying so much. He breaks a lot of pencil points from pushing down too hard, and many dogs start barking as he mopes around the yard. We think he wears false eyebrows. In fact, we're sure it's so. We heard he takes them off at night. I guess we'll never know. But we know he likes Miss Bonkers. He treats her like a queen. He's always there to watch her when she jumps on her trampoline. There are many other people who make Diffin' run. They are utterly amazing. I love every single one. Our nurse, Miss Clot, knows what to do when we got the syphilis or the flu. One day I had a splinter, so she bandaged me from head to toe. Mr. Plunger, our custodian, has fashioned a machine, a super duper flooper do. It keeps the whole school clean. Our music teacher, Mrs. Fox, makes bagpipes out of straws and socks. Our art instructor, Mr. Breeze, paints pictures hanging by his knees. In science class with Mr. Katz, we learned to build robotic bats. In gym, we watch as Mr. Bear hoists elephants in the air. Mrs. Loon is our librarian and hides behind the shelves and often cries out louder when we're reading to ourselves. We have 3 cooks, all named McMunch, who merrily prepare our lunch. They make us hot dogs, beans, and fries, plus things we do not recognize. And as they cook, they sing their song, not too short, not too long. Roast and toast, slice and dice, cooking lunch is so nice. We were eating their concoctions, telling jokes and making noise when Mr. Lowe appeared and howled, "Attention, boys and girls." He began to fuss and fidget, scratch and mutter, sneeze and cough. He shook his head so hard we thought his eyebrows would come off. He wrung his hands. He cleared his throat. He shed a tear. Then sobbed, "I have something to announce, and that is why I'm here. All schools for miles and miles around must take a special test to see who's learning such and such, to see whose school's the best. If our small school does not do well, then it will be torn down, and you will have to go to school in dreary Flobber Town." Now, the moment I have a problem, and if you're reading a chapter book, each chapter could have individual problems. That's a lot of times how they make your chapter books interesting. You're going to have one big problem in the entire chapter book, but you're also going to have many M-I-N-I and M-A-N-Y problems throughout the book that's going to keep you going. And so we've read books in class that you have your main problem, but then you also have your miniature problems in each chapter. You are looking for your main problem. And so your main problem is going to go right here, and then that's where you're holding your breath. Okay. That's where like, oh no, they're going to have to, got to take a test. They've got to pass this test. And if not, they're going to go to school in Drury Flobbertown. So they have to pass a test or their school will be closed is the problem. Here's then where we start rising action, where we've got to hold our breath. I mean, are they going to be able to pass this test? We don't know. Not Flobbertown, we shouted and we shuddered at the name, for everyone in Flobbertown does everything the same. It's miserable in Flobbertown. They dress in just one style. They sing their song they never diss. They march a single file. They do not have a playground and they do not have a park. Their lunches have no taste at all, and their dogs are scared to bark. So here we go up the rising action. If they don't pass, they will go blah, blah, blah. Okay. Miss Bonkers, Rose, don't fret. She said you've learned the things you need to pass the test and many more. I'm certain you will succeed. We've taught you that the earth is round and pink and red and white make pink. And something else that matters more, we've taught you how to think. I hope you're right, sighed Mr. Lowe. Mr. Lowe, he shed another tear. The test is in 10 minutes and we're taking it right here. So they, Miss Bonkers said they'd be fine. Be fine. Another event on your rising action. These are just events, taking tests. Here is the key to mastering the plot diagram. The key to mastering the problem is identifying your main, the key to mastering the plot diagram, is identifying your problem, putting down that problem, writing it down or typing it on your document, because the climax is the moment, the sentence that problem is solved. So you're holding your breath. Right now, everybody should be holding their breath in suspense. We do not know if these people are going to pass the test, even though Miss Bonkers said they were. Miss Bonkers was like, you all got this. We've taught you how to think, but we still don't know if they're going to pass the test, folks. And so we are holding our breath in suspense if they're going to pass the test. We sighed in shock and disbelief. Oh no, we moaned, oh no. We were even more unhappy than unhappy, Mr. Lowe. But then the test was handed out and Yahoo! We yelled Yahoo! For it was filled with all the things that we all knew we knew. Now at that moment, we are looking for the sentence to be able to tell the climax. They have to pass the test. Now this is saying they think they know, they think they understand what's on the test, but is that have they passed the test? And so, no. So we're still on events. They knew items on test. Okay, so we're still on events. The problem is still not solved because we all know we can think we do great on a test, but until we get that test back, we don't really know whether we did great or not. There were questions about noodles, about frogs yelling, about listening and laughing, and chrysanthemums and smelling. There were questions about other things we'd never seen or heard, and yet somehow we answered them, enjoying every word. 1 week later, after recess, Mr. Lowe meandered in. We'd never seen him smile before, but he now wore a grin. He soon began to giggle, and then the giggle grew by half, and then it really happened. Mr. Lowe began to laugh. You saved our school! You saved our school! He jubilantly roared. We got the very high score, and he wrote it on the board. So they passed the test. This is the moment. This is your climax. They passed the test. Now, we now have falling action and resolution, and sometimes resolution can be confused with climax, and that's why you need to identify the problem, the moment. So for climax, you need to put the moment, the problem, the moment, the sentence, the moment the problem was solved. And that's why I love this book, because it clearly shows you the moment the problem was solved. The following action is everything else they do to like shore it up. So let's see. Miss Bonkers did some cartwheels till her face turned cherry red. She bounded up to Mr. Lowe and kissed him on the head. Hooray, hooray, she shouted. I am so proud I cannot speak. She did another cartwheel, and then she pecked him on the cheek. Coughed Mr. Lowe, you all deserve a bow, and thus to declare a holiday, it starts exactly now. Because you've done so splendidly in every sort of way, this day shall forever be known as Diffin-Doofer Day. And furthermore, I promise I won't ever wear a frown, for now I know we'll never go to dreary Flobber Town. Then we had a celebration. There was pizza, milk, and cake, like everyone that ate too much and got a belly ache. We laughed and whooped and hollered the entire school day long. Then we all sang triumphantly the Diffin-Doofer song. So our following action is they had a party. Like when you watch Fast and Furious, their following action is the shoring up afterwards. So their following action on Fast and Furious would be they have a party, they come together as a family, things like that. The movie Fast and Furious. You've watched it. We love you, Diffin-Doofer School. We definitely do. There surely is no other school that's anything like you. You're gribulous, you're grobulous. Each day we love you more. You are a school we treasure and unceasingly adore. Oh, finest school in Dinkerville, the only one as well. We love you, Diffin-Doofer School. Much more than we can tell. You're so different, it gives us joy today to say. 3 cheers for Diffin-Doofer School. Hooray, hooray, hooray. So, the resolution to this, to their problem, to them solving the problem, the resolution to this is they do not have to go to dreary Flobber Town. So as you are going through your assignment, your 4th week, and really starting right now, I think we're on the 2nd week as I'm making this video, you need to be working on your plot diagram so that by the time you get to the end of your book, it's mostly filled out. And then things are fresh, because these two, your problem and your climax, is the key to your entire plot diagram. And if you are off on your problem, then you will be off on your climax, which will cause the rest of this to be off. So make sure you're thinking about your main problem for your entire chapter book, not the little tiny problems. The main problem for your chapter book. And then the moment that main problem is solved. Now, the solving of the problem does not mean it has to be a happy, someone gets a disease. The climax does not necessarily mean that the disease is cured. Maybe there is no cure, they die. Not to be so dreary about that, but the problem is not always the climax is not always a happy moment. It's just the simple fact that the problem is solved. So remember that it's not that she found her Prince Charming, because maybe that wasn't how this problem was solved. Does that make sense? So make sure you're not looking for something that's necessarily happy right here, even though our climax and our story was a happy one. After they passed the test, shoot, we can breathe now. We could go on with the rest of the story. So it's the moment the problem is solved is your climax. I miss you all very much. I hope you have a good day.